Welcome to Plant City Bonsai. I'm Steve Craddy, and we're doing our official spring video today. There's lots of things to show you. I'm very excited. This is the video I've been waiting for because everything's waking up and it's the most refreshing time of year. So we're going to be talking about first a couple of trees that are in my parking lot, which is where we are right now. And then we'll head toward the nursery and just talk about so many beautiful things. This handsome tree here is a Japanese black pine. It's from Oregon. It's very unusual for me to order a tree of this size and magnitude for gardens. Very difficult to make happen. But it's classic in having a lot of things that we look for in bonsai trees. It has beautiful spiraling. There's the wagon wheeling has been totally eliminated, and it's just, this would be like the one piece for somebody's garden that would just be shockingly beautiful. This is the Japanese maple Shishigashira, also commonly known as lion's head. Always one of my favorite trees. This one has the most magnificent base. I mean, it's just it's a garden tree, but with enough patience, it could be turned into a bonsai planting. Just awesome. That's a dream come true right there. And the foliage is small, as I just mentioned, and the color in the fall is just mind-boggling. It's kind of a cross between burgundy and orange. It's awesome. Now we're going to head into the nursery and look at lots more trees in our new setup. This was a rare find for this late winter. These are small Japanese white pines that have attributes that I look for. They have really nice grafts, and the cyan wood above that has nice stature. What small pines do is they grow in a wagon wheel fashion. I have 4 trees here that break that rule positively because they have nice staggering branches, movement, taper. They're awesome. This was a nice find that I located in Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm selling some bonsai trees to a garden center. It's Hewitt's Nursery, and it's unbelievable. So if you're ever in Nashville, Tennessee, you should visit their nursery and allow lots of time because they have acres and acres of beautiful garden trees. This is first of several ball cypresses that I will be showing today. This one is rather a beautiful tree. I love the way it just worked out to be perfect for a slanted style. This particular variety has a different color bark than most ball cypress, so just a really beautiful tree. Another cypress. This variety is actually slightly different. It's a pond cypress, and the difference is the ball cypress unfurls its leaves, laying out pretty flat, where these are always a little tighter. It's easy to tell the difference in them. And the pond cypress, by midsummer, will be displaying little small seed pods that look like little pine cones, and this tree could have like 30 or 40 of them by the end of the summer. Beautiful when that happens. This has a gorgeous nabari. This was an acquisition late winter, but we wanted to show it to you today because it's waking up. Every branch is alive on it, and it's just bonsai art that Mother Nature did. Traveling up the tree, it has such an incredible natural bend and headed right to the apex. It is a great tree. This next tree is a redwood, metasequoia, incredibly dramatic. It really shows off the nabari. It's just breathtaking. I'm so excited that we have it this season. Now I'm going to show you some imported azaleas. The first of the Japanese import Satsuki is an azalea called Keegan. and it's almost like a spider bloom. It was my most popular seller last year, so we are offering it again this year. And it's just a splendid long bloomer. It blooms like forever. So you get the sporadic, full blown, and then more than another amount of time sporadic. It's awesome. So this will be the first one we're looking at. This is an example of the Keegan, and it's sort of beginning to show off. It's just beginning with its blooms, so it mainly is showing one color, but it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, if you can imagine, with the blast of color, you can barely see the leaves. It's just unbelievable. I like it because it's a small bloom also. The next azalea is, and this is imported from Japan. The next azalea is another import that I just reacquired, and it's not a mountain variety, but it's very similar. The foliage is tiny, the bloom is tiny, but it's just, over the years, it has just developed into an awesome tree. It has just an unbelievable twist. And I've known this guy for probably 20 years. We have several offerings of forest plantings. This first one is a trident maple. I try to do every year 2 or 3 classes, organized classes, on trident maple, putting together trees. And this is a very, very nice example of using the different sizes of the trees. And it works because it's like an 11 tree forest, and that's obviously the more trees you have, the more legitimate it looks like a naturalized forest. And before we shot this, I just kind of whipped around to cut off the growth that has happened in the last 2 weeks. It's like they just shot out, 6 or 8 inches. So very cool forest. A nice cream pot always works well with a trident. This next group planting, Japanese beech, and another nice placement of trees. It's an 11 tree forest, and just a gorgeous planting. You don't see these very often. The next forest planting is a Zelkova graybark elm. The trees are originally from Southern California, and it was done, this was actually put together in a Warren Hill forest workshop. He was quite famous for his configurations of creating forest. But anyway, it's very well established. It's on the verge of needing to be repotted into probably a larger pot. It's been many years in this same pot. So, but it's just a really awesome planting, and in that he had a hand in building it, it makes it even more special. The next forest is, there's just a crazy passion for redwoods. It has been that way for the last several years. We use, for our forest plantings, we use the Meta Sequoia, or the Dawn redwoods. And we'll show you, before this video is over, my room that houses all sizes of these. You could plan your future forest. All sizes of redwoods. And there's nothing like them. You can create a very, very naturalized walking your way through the redwood forest. Important, you got to have the different size trees, and this one does. The next forest is super unusual. It's a Pseudocydonia, and it's famous for single tree and forest applications. And it's not because lots of flowering, lots of fruit, it doesn't do that very often. But the bark is absolutely amazing. It has, like this, has colors of green and yellow and orange, and that's typical of the tree, of the forest. And this is the 5 tree planting, and these also came from California, and it's just exciting to see this. Here's another example of the redwood forest. I actually pruned that one to show how you open it up some. And this one I have not done yet, but it just needs to be opened up just a little bit. I like to, when you do your redwood forest, it's better to see it, I guess, here. a lot of people look at the redwoods like they see in California. They're walking through the woods, and they're going through redwood forest. They notice that there's no visible limbs because the trees are so huge and so tall. Well, that works in the redwood forest. We don't want to do our bonsai that way. We want to keep it kind of full toward the bottom. It doesn't look very believable if you skirt the trees up uniformly. So I love building these. This is our shade house stock room, and I'm standing in the middle of several Metasequoia dawn redwoods. What I previously mentioned, these are perfect for building forest. There's also some single tree ones in here. So, you know, a lot of people like to just build a single tree. And there's some nice fat trunks in here that could happen. They're just super healthy. It's a great time of year to look at their structure. These are 3 examples of 3 different sizes, and that's the key to having a believable forest. Ideally, you want to have your main tree, if this is the main tree, have your secondary, that would be about half the girth of the main tree, and then graduate down to this size right here, which would be the smallest. But it's unbelievable how beautiful of a configuration you can make with as few as 5. 7 is better. So hope you can look forward to maybe you come into one of our forest class in the future. This next tree is the jaboticaba. It's native to Brazil, and we're getting more bonded with the tree every year. It's very easy to treat indoors with proper lighting. It's a refreshing change from the norm of what we think of as indoor bonsai. The marbling on the bark is probably one of the most attractive features. So we stock a few of the larger ones, and then we also carry several medium-sized ones that are very user-friendly for classes, for one thing. And this was old enough already to have some interesting bark. So I treasure the tree. It's something different than the norm. It's nice to be back in the Japanese garden. We just moved trees out from protection to here, and it's really nice with the new benches. Again, they have a very good height to display bonsai trees. This first little group of trees, these are Japanese white pines. These are imported from Japan. They are becoming harder, more difficult, I should say, to acquire because they do have to go through the quarantine. But these are just gorgeous. The blend of the cyan wood to the understock is just gorgeous, and branches not being wagon wheeling, just very, very nice branching. So we have 3 of those that I'm seeing right here. The next tree is actually a Mikawa black pine, and it's done in a cascade style. I even picked up this pot at Ishi's in California on my last purchasing trip, and it's actually etched with a pine limb. It's very cool. And this one is an Ishi Kishu Shimpaku, and in the spiral style, or twisted, he calls it twisted style. Just a beautiful, beautiful tree. Now I'm going to show you a few more trees on the other side. Just wanted to mention, we did a class last fall. Larry Jackal led the class. He flew over from Denver to do it, and we used blue spruce collected 2 to 3 years ago, and there's kind of a stigma. Will they live here? Will they flourish here? Well, some of these here have been here 3 or 4 seasons, and they're absolutely gorgeous. At this time of year, they're putting out that new growth, and I think it's a win-win for our Georgia climate. This next tree, I'm going to move this one, and I want to just make a quick mention of this because you don't see this tree very often. This is a persimmon tree. It's called a princess persimmon, and it's very good for fruiting. The only negative is you have to have an exact match male to go with the female to produce the fruits. And but it's rare. It's a new acquisition for me, and so the future owner will need to have a male or acquire one, and they are gettable. For the first time in a number of years, I have some very nice Shohin-sized black pines. They've been done with the process of wrapping them at an earlier age with a wire that's purposely left on the tree, where it causes kind of an explosion of the bark. It girths up the tree in a much faster pace. But they're really nice, and I'm excited to have them. Now let's head over to our newest area to display trees. I'm excited to show it to you. This is our newest display area. It used to be a space that we housed the plants for classes, starting with 2-inch pots up to, say, 10-inch pots. And we've converted it to our specimen garden, or future specimen garden, and it's a delight to have it. Love this. This is a nice larger space. Its purpose is going to be kind of unique. It's going to be a changeable area where we change out the specimens and the soon-to-be specimens, and it will be it'll be a treat for whenever you're coming up here. There's going to be different stuff to look at. I'm very excited, seriously excited, to talk about the Yintak stone from China. I've been trying to acquire a nice selection of them for over 20 years. And my selection, I had at one time a great selection. It has dwindled. It dwindled to nil. So in finding this wonderful, with varied sizes, very interesting Yintak rock is one of my most important finds for the year 2019. And we have quite a number to look at. I have clients come in and spend a long time picking out how they're going to design their suiseki, or how they're going to pick a stone for a tree. So it's huge. One of my favorite facets of my business this year. Next, I'm going to move over and talk about tools for just a bit. I still believe in that we must have some Masakuni tools in our life. And so I use the Masakuni. There's a larger one that I like also, but this smaller one is a one-handed tool. And this kind of does it all. I mean, it is so versatile. It's actually called a root cutter, but its main use is could be branches. It's just a delightful tool to use. All you gotta do is come in, hold this tool, and you're sold. The next is this very nice tool to get inside foliage and have the most precise cut. It's the Masakuni number 103. It's awesome. The handle is very, very user-friendly. And then we have the little cutie. This is the number 9. And it's a strange tool. It's designed to cut off small branches and small wire. So it's a tool you're not going back and forth when you're working toward the upper part of a tree, the apex. It's just very, very user-friendly in that way. And I keep this one in stock. Wanted to mention a few more of the Masakuni tools and then end up talking about this Japanese-made, what we call a banana shear. It's just awesome for doing very fast topiary work. Actually, I get inside the trees and work in small, tight places. But anyway, back to Masakuni for a second. Just their tools are they're fun to have. They make sense. Here's a very stiff steel root hook that is, nothing humbles it. But when you're using it, you're not doing damage. It's just like it's a very, very easy tool to use to not make mistakes. This next tool, Richard Cantrell, very good friend of mine, way back when, I'm talking about probably 30 years ago, introduced me to the edge cutting tweezer. And you know, it takes just a little bit of a learning curve, but then you don't want to put it down. It's very important in spring to have this tool. It's great for bud removal, and it's awesome. And it's stainless, and they last forever. The next three tools are, if you want to have a complete kit of working on bonsai trees without going motorized, these three tools here do it. This is the Hawkbill 4-bladed tool for creating, you know, cleaning. It's a cleaning tool. It's very good for getting into the crotch of branches. That's what I use it for. It's also very good for if you have like a round dead limb where you've taken the bark off of it. Well, then it's just kind of like a little round limb. This gives it the striation that makes it work. And then for really quick getting the bark off of something, a limb, the round shape is very, very good. And it's fast. It's a fast tool. And then this last one, this is fantastic for creating the lightning strike, starting at the base of a tree. Fantastic tools. And again, banana shear is awesome for doing fast work. You know, if you have a lot of pre-bonsai that grow fast, this is awesomely necessary. In my opinion, one of the coolest new offerings here at the nursery is actually a tropical. And it's the green isle banyan tree. They're bulletproof for being a long-lasting, easy to take care of bonsai. This one is actually done so artistically over this carved stone. Is a very, very unique configuration of its aerial rootage and its clasping roots, following the what resembles a very, very large mountain. The rock was carved many years ago. It's very mystical, very mysterious. And on top of that, for a bonsai for indoors, it's probably the most reasonable plant to even use. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. I look forward to talking to you very, very soon, or even better, visiting the nursery. Love to have you here. Thank you very much.